At the Back podcast. This is episode 24. We will be talking everything game week 16 and how we fared, and then a look into game week 17 and all those differentials you might want to look at to make up your midfield. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing good, mate. On the back of a strong game week last week, things are looking rosy. Yeah, yourself?
I cannot complain. FPL is keeping me sane. Phil Foden is giving me a very nice Christmas so far.
You going to pick your own players this week, or just piggyback off mine?
Well, I'm using you as the oracle of advice, so I thank you for the help over the last few game weeks.
Help! I'm going to start copywriting my players, mate, so you can't have them, or charging you for nicking them.
I very much appreciate it. He can keep his form going, maybe, and then just drop it around February time. That'd be great.
Lovely. Just in time for the end of the season.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So should we get into it?
Let's do it.
I will share my screen, and we can talk everything game week 16.
I mean, the game weeks are coming thick and fast. I think there's something like 4 game weeks in 11 days from Saturday. So, it's coming thick and fast, Paulie. It's, I love this time of year for football in general.
Indeed. It makes it tense because the deadlines do creep up on you, especially when you're getting ready to wind down for that Christmas celebration. So you need to keep your finger to the pulse for sure in an FPL sense.
Absolutely.
So where do we begin? Why don't we
start with Arsenal like we do most weeks?
You spoil me. You spoil me. I guess, that it kind of ties into the top point, I guess. Own goals galore this weekend. So there were 4 in total. That's the most since the 2014-15 season.
Wow.
And 2 of them, as you just mentioned, was in the Arsenal game. So I think we all teed up on our Arsenal assets, expecting a bit more of a comfortable result, and it, in fact, didn't play out like that. How did you see the game, Scott? I'll get your opinion on it first.
Well, I watched Wolves the week before against United, and they had one of the worst second half performances I can remember. So yeah, you're right. Everyone loaded up on Arsenal, expecting a similar outcome, and it didn't happen, did it? They huffed and puffed, and Wolves looked pretty solid, and Arsenal sort of ran out of ideas, and yeah, it was a bit of a frustrating game, I guess, if you're an Arsenal fan. I again doubled up on the defence, thinking this is an absolute guarantee of a clean sheet. I was at a works do, and I checked it. 88th minute, Hincapié, who I brought in, clean sheet, Defcons, 3 bonus points. I'm like, come on. Yeah, I didn't check it again until the morning, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was like, again, they'd let me down. And then saved by a second own goal in that match. I mean, cool. I mean, you're the Arsenal man, so you talk us through your feelings about it, and then I'll give a quick explanation on the Saka assist, because social media has melted down as to why he's been given them.
Again, I watched it fairly frustrated. That first half was one of the worst first halves I've seen from Arsenal this season. We struggled to get anything going. Obviously, Wolves had 10 men behind the ball, I guess, as you'd expect, and they definitely didn't come out and attack in any way, shape, or form like they did in the previous week against Man United. So it was tough going. It was tough going. We created plenty of chances to put the ball in the back of the net. We just didn't make the decisions in the final third. Went quickly enough and correctly when needed. And yeah, Wolves hung in at 1-0, and got the goal with their one and only shot in the second half. So it was tough going. It was really poor defending from our perspective. And then I'd like to say that this is a game where it shows what champions are made of when they win these type of games.
When you beat a side haven't won yet, that's what champs are made of. Yeah,
everyone has an off day, right? Every team has an off day, and I'm hoping that's one of very few off days that Arsenal have this season. So I'm just chalking it down to the result that matters from an Arsenal's perspective.
But this habit they've got into of conceding from almost the only chance that they give up. I mean, what is that about? I mean, you really need to have a word with David Raya, mate, because where is he going on the cross?
He was just rooted, wasn't he? I think Nkapie was way too deep. Like everyone had moved up, and Nkapie had dropped deep to deal with the man, rather than moving out with the rest of the defence. So he kind of was leaving himself open. But yeah, I'm not sure. The header was right in the centre of the goal.
Right in the centre, yeah.
So I'm not sure what Raya was doing. But yeah, it's no coincidence that we've started conceding goals since Gabriel has been out the side. He is the linchpin of that. Again, I don't want to get the old violin out because we've already been waxing lyrical about Arsenal's strength and depth since the beginning of the season. But the injuries are truly piling up, especially in defence, and I guess you're seeing kind of a little disjointed displays because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the data on the game, Arsenal produced a 1.13 xG, which is not fantastically high from 16 shots, which probably shows that they were shooting from angles and distances that showed they were getting a bit frustrated with the Wolves' low block. I mean, Wolves only achieved 0.38, which again Arsenal shut them out, which was the best XGC of the weekend. Which again, if you go in with double Arsenal defence, makes that even more frustrating because they're doing the business, they're shutting sides out, but just conceding from that one sort of chance that they're giving up. On the Arsenal goals, now I didn't see them till the following day, but I read the report before, and the sort of confusion around the assists from Saka and the reasons why he was given, and I watched them and I thought, well, they're two bona fide assists under the new guidance from FPL. Basically, it's very simple that because he was the last player to play the ball in an attacking sense, he gets the assist. So they don't get down as official assists on Opta, but FPL credit it because their new rules this year wanted to award more points. More points is more fun. Because last season he wouldn't have got them.
Well, I think we were happy to see them with us. I think both of us captained him, so I was relieved, to say the least.
Well, you can tell a lot from the bonus system. So when I checked it at 88 minutes, Saka was on second place with 1 assist and 2 bonus, and I'm like, oh, okay, that tells you the game. And then obviously with the second assist being credited to him, he jumped to 3 bonus. Yeah, and his data, Saka's data, 0.03 xG in that game. Created 3 chances, 1 shot, which shows that Wolves did a pretty decent job in keeping him quiet. Obviously, the first goal come from a corner, which is a bit of a freak situation. Nothing really that Sam Johnson could have done.
No.
Yeah, maybe apart from be about 6 inches taller, so he could have tipped it around. But so overall, I guess like you said, a game you take the 3 points, you ignore the performance, and you move on. And from a Wolves perspective, I mean, they were open against United, like you said. They tried shutting shop against Arsenal. They've conceded twice. There's not much else they can do apart from try every game and try and gain as many points as possible, because it looks pretty doomy for them at the moment.
Yeah. It's the data suggests nothing but bad news, unfortunately, for Wolves.
Do you want some Wolves data?
By all means.
I mean, it's not good reading. Sorry, John, this is a bit of a Wolves bashing coming up. So,
pleasure is.
Yeah. So they've obviously scored the fewest, 0.6 goals per game on the books. They've also conceded the most, 2.2 per game. They have the fewest shots as well. But weirdly, they top the metric for most accurate long balls and most accurate crosses. which paints the picture of a side playing long ball to the wings and hopefully banging them in. Not pretty reading. So yeah, Rob Edwards does a massive job there, and I personally don't think they've got the personnel to get themselves out of trouble. Just hope they don't beat that Derby record, because that wouldn't be something that Wolves want.
Okay, mate. And I guess the other own goal worth real mentioning here was in that Tyne Weir derby, with Sunderland being on the fortunate side of it. I think Voltemada clearly got confused of what end of the pitch he was in, because that was a bullet header.
Well, it was a fantastic finish, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
Buried.
It was indeed. And he looked more shocked of how well it went in.
I mean, the Tyne Weir derby, first time since 2015 it's been played. Really important game for that part of the country. Great to see Sunderland back in the league and doing so well. And their early form, I think, cements their position for next season. Because these are important. Yeah, it means that Newcastle don't have it all their own way up there, which is good. Good for competition, good for the league. It all built up for this massive game. It's going to be blood and thunder. And some of the data that come out of this game was quite funny. There was 9 yellow cards, which you'd expect. I mean, the Premier League average is 5 per game. There was 9 in this, but no reds, surprisingly. 0.53 XG that the whole game produced, which is the lowest of the season.
Yeah, it felt like the game was all in the midfield.
All in the midfield, yeah. And 11 shots in total, which is the lowest for 3 seasons.
Yeah, I think I read that with that win, Sunderland now have equalled the win ratio between the two sides.
Yeah.
Which is
leveled it up.
Which is good going.
Well, it's an important win in the context of their season, beating the closest rivals. I mean, it was a terrible game to watch, but if you come away with a 1-0 win against your closest rivals, who cares?
Yeah, I would suggest on the play that they deserved it on the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've done enough. One thing that I think intrigues me is how they're going to perform. Now, a lot of their top players will be off to AFCON.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really interesting to see how they're going to do in the next 5 to 6 game weeks.
Well, they look very solid defensively, didn't they, Sunderland? They're never going to blow teams away by outscoring them, like United do. They're going to grind out results because they're very solid and hard to beat. I still think some of their defensive assets are worth looking at. I mean, Alderetti's back down to 4 million. I mean, he's got to be worth the consideration if you're looking to maneuver a bit of cash around. Later on in this episode, I've got a little idea to throw at you, see what you think. It involves Alderetti.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, interesting.
I've got Michele, and he's been a godsend. He actually got the assist for the own goal.
Yeah.
With the long throw.
So again, so to explain Saka's one, I mean, only got to watch the Michele one. He's just banged it into the middle. There's no one around Voltemada who's just bullet headed in, and Michele gets the assist. So anyone that's confused at the new ruling shouldn't be after watching that.
Indeed. Next on the list is a guy that's become a bit of a talking point over the last week due to his form leading into this game weekend, and he certainly didn't disappoint. Old wonderful Wilson. Obviously, Fulham go out 3-2 winners, and he now has 7 returns in his last 4, which is pretty mad, to be honest. Similar form, well, the same form as your man Phil Foden.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that Harry Wilson's a talented lad. Just a bit in and out of the team. I think Marcus Silva's been a bit unsure where his best position is. I'm not sure he adds a great deal going backwards. But if you can get him into that team that's clicking going forward, he's certainly a game changer, as he showed. 2 assists, a lovely goal. He doesn't score tap-ins, does he?
He definitely doesn't know.
You know, the goal he scored against us last week was an absolute beauty as well. And then the one against Spurs where Vicario duffed the clearance, that was a stunning finish. So, yeah, I mean, what is he, 5.5 million at the moment?
Yeah.
You know, we'll talk about budget mids enablers to fit aside your premiums later, but he's definitely in the conversation. It's just whether you think you've missed the boat. 3 big returns on the bounce.
Well,
It could be too late.
Well, people have already started jumping on him because he's up to 12% ownership now. And he certainly is massively overperforming his data, which, again, we'll go through shortly. So quite possibly. But there are some decent fixtures coming up for Fulham. So, again, he's probably still worth giving a glance to.
And those flair players like Wilson, the data doesn't really apply strictly to them because they'll score, go out of nothing as a that's what they do because that's the talent they have. So the data sometimes doesn't really apply to guys like him, I guess.
For sure. And then the next one, Resurgent Forest, adding more pressure to Thomas Frank and Spurs. So Sean Dyche has well and truly seems to have turned the ship around there at Forest. That's 4 wins now in their last 6. And then to counteract Spurs, they've have 1 win in their last 7. And they just continue to struggle with indifferent form week on week. How did you see the game and how did you see it?
Spurs are a weird side, aren't they? They show so much left over from last season. That Frank is gonna struggle to remove sieve out of that team because obviously collective they on paper they have a very talented squad. That I thought Thomas Frank going in there would sort of squeeze the best out of them. And occasionally they look good, occasionally they look solid, but all too often recently they've looked neither. Flaky at the back, very blunt going forward, and it's really sort of hard to work out really what's going on. They playing lots of long balls, almost playing like percentage football, which is odd. From I mean, I know Frank at Brentford, he was accused of that, and I think people gave him a bit of leeway because it was Brentford. I'm not sure you get that sort of leeway trying to play that way at Tottenham.
So do you think that's in that case it could be that the Spurs job is probably maybe too big for Thomas Frank?
I don't think so. I really rate him as a coach. I just think he wants to impose a style that maybe isn't suited. I mean, Ange was probably the perfect manager for Spurs because he wanted to play that open, free-flowing style which Spurs fans want to see. Frank wants a bit more pragmatic, a bit more structure-based, but they're not even doing that. When you watch them, they're not even doing that. So it's hard to work out what his plans are. But yeah, you're right about Dyche. He's gone in. He's made Forest very hard to beat, and they're actually scoring goals, which is great. And they're not as counter-attacking side that they were last season. They're actually playing some good stuff. Bit fortunate with a couple of those goals. Sangari's rocket.
Some crazy finishes, yeah.
Yeah, and Hudson-Odoi with his customary one a season curler from 35 yards. So, but no, worthy winners. Yeah, they're on the up. Spurs on the decline.
Yeah. Do you think it might be worth looking at Forest defenders again for FPL this season?
Possibly. I was thinking more of actually attacking Spurs from a defensive point of view because they're so blunt going forward. So when we come to our little chat later, I'll point something out to you.
Oh, interesting. Cool. And then the next one, obviously, this is going to be a bit of a sore one for you, Scott.
Why'd you put it on there then?
I had the game on the Sky multiplay, which I think is great because I got to watch all the games as they were playing, and it was a tale of one team being wasteful
Mm-hmm.
and one team being clinical. It felt like
Story of
Palace
our season,
had
right?
their chances for
Mm.
sure within that game. Another game that Mateta didn't last. It looks like, I assume he's carrying a niggle. And punished with a clinical Foden and Haaland display.
Well, that's the story of our season. We've created chances and not been able to put them away, but also the story of having such talent as Haaland and Foden in your ranks. You can play that way. I mean, that's why Haaland is the deadliest striker probably in world football. We gave him one half chance at the end of the first half, and he buries an absolutely beautiful header, and then the penalty in the last minute. There was only 2 shots he had in the entire game. Other than that, he was a passenger. We restricted Foden to 0.13 xg, and he scores. So
Yeah.
And Glasner came out after and said that's the best performance of the season from his point of view. That the players did everything they could. It's just that quality that City possess. I mean, they are one of the best sides in Europe. So if you don't take your chances against teams like that, they will find a way. I mean, the XG we produced 1.88 on any other given day, we'd have matched them.
Scored two, and been happy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my notes here says Palace played really well, dominated the XG. You said City were clinical and Haaland the difference maker.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I've never watched. I say I've never watched, but to watch your team lose 3-0 and not be annoyed, is quite a weird feeling.
Well, it certainly is. Yeah, it certainly is. I guess that'd be a similar feeling to what Man United fans probably felt watching the game last night. But before we get on to their game, is there any other games or players that you want to call out over the weekend? Because I assume their game will be the last talking point of this section.
Well, just to say give a bit of context to the Foden performance. That's 4 double-digit hauls on the bounce, which is 55 points in 4 game weeks, which matches his previous 23 games.
Wow.
So the form has come out of nowhere. We said last week he's a very streaky player. Once he's hot, he's hot. Now all we got to hope now is the Pep just doesn't do something daft like bench him, because that's always a chance. Foden hasn't tracked back once, and all of a sudden he gets benched for 6 weeks. But he's back in red hot form. Foden. He's back in the England chat, because I think if he hadn't picked this form up, he probably would have been one of those big name passengers not going to the World Cup. So for him, it's an important year. You've got to keep going. I've eventually drafted him in to my side. I've lost all those 4 hauls. We'll see. And one other stat from the game. Palace had 24 touches in the City box in the first half, which is more than any side have achieved against City in 5 seasons.
Wow.
And it amounts to nothing.
Yeah. That's a cool stat, though.
Cool stat.
Yeah.
Peter wasn't 5 goals, but there you
go. I think, like you say, the one positive to take is it shows that Palace are moving in the right direction, despite the result.
Yeah, lots of talk that we look tired, and it's true, we do in phases.
You haven't got the strength in depth, right?
Not at all. I mean, and to touch on your Mateta point, he's got a slight knee issue. He's only lasting 55, 60 minutes. To be honest, he's been a passenger for 5 weeks. Probably time to give him a rest and let Eddie start, and give him a proper bit of time off, because we played a crazy number of games so far this season. I think that's 26 games we played already.
Yeah. You've got a very busy December as well.
Tell me about it. Yeah. 4 games in 12 days.
That's insane.
Mm.
I guess before we go on to Old Trafford, Liverpool, obviously, Ekitike scoring another double. Is he in consideration for a striker place in your team?
Well, so we discussed last week about moving funds out of the front line and sticking it into midfield and defence. And you were you were sticking to your guns that you're going to have a three-man attack, which is cool, which means you see the game differently. I was much thinking a two-man attack. I've even looked at just Haaland up front. But I think Ekitike's form means that you got to look. You got to look at him. You got to try and work out a way of getting him in, even if you don't do it, because his form is hot. And the Liverpool injuries and Salah going to AFCON means he's almost assured minutes now, which is the only thing that was stopping me from looking at him properly. Gakpo's out. Isak can't stay fit. Szoboszlai looks like he could be out as well. So all those sort of areas of the pitch means that Ekitike gets a game. It's just whereabouts he fits the rest of the players. Whether Isak joins him as a top two, Chiesa might get a run out. Where does Wirtz play? Does he play on the left or does he play as a 10? But I think Ekitike is assured minutes now, so he's definitely on the wanted list.
Good to hear. Yeah, all valid points. And I guess the other person to talk about very briefly is obviously Cole Palmer. Started his first game back and managed to score and then get subbed off in the 59th minute.
Yep.
So again, is he on your radar?
He is, obviously. I mean, he's too good to ignore. But you got to. I think he'll wait before he's clocking up more than 55 minutes. Or Chelsea have a really, really favourable fixture string around game week 22.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk then, Palmer and probably 6 other Chelsea players are going to be on the radar because
Malo Gusto will be on everyone's shopping list.
Well, the change of fixtures in that week is quite something. So let's hope he's back fit, and let's hope for himself. I mentioned the World Cup in the summer. He's definitely a player that we want to take fit and firing. So let's hope he manages to find the root cause of his issues and he gets over them because he's such a super talent. I love watching Cole Palmer. He plays the game like he's so enjoying it.
Yeah.
And he brings a bit of something different to the league. So let's hope he gets fit and firing quick.
Okay. Should we move on to Old Trafford then quickly before we go into our game week 16 scores?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a match that was last night. I mean, we spoke off camera, didn't we, about the game. United looking so good on the front foot, creating chances, scoring goals, but looking so open at the back. Like we've mentioned before, the risk Amorim takes with playing Bruno in that role as a part of the pivot in the midfield, it's so risky because you get all his attacking exploits, but you get no defensive cover. And whoever the poor bugger it is has to play alongside him, Casemiro, this game. I mean, Casemiro's got no legs himself. How he's having to cover for 2 players, and Amorim thinks that's going to work is crazy. I mean, if Bruno's going to play slightly deeper, he needs 2 holding players playing behind him, and you've got to change the whole system. So it's madness, but great as a neutral, and they're very entertaining, Man U.
Well, they're certainly putting the ball in the back of the net, and Bruno is critical to that. 7 returns in 4 is wonderful form, but he is costly for them defensively because he isn't tracking any of those runners and they're all running off him into those spaces and being punished for it currently, and that's not getting them results. So
teams are running through United like a finishing line. They're just running. The central midfield players are like traffic cones, aren't they? Like Goldbridge says, you got to play players in there that have legs to cover the gaps because he plays the 3 at the back, and there is a space in that middle. If you watch Palace, we play the same system. We play Wharton,
just
who wants to get forward.
Up, right?
Yeah, but we anchor him with someone that wants to stay. A Jefferson Lerma just wants to cover the ground in behind, or Will Hughes that do all the donkey work. I mean, Casemiro is there to do the donkey work, but he hasn't got the pace or the energy to cover the spaces, and it's been obvious since the start of the season. And that, like we've discussed before, in my view, is the root cause of all United's problems, is that position.
Well, we'll have to wait and see whether they dip into the transfer market in January to solve it.
Well, they have the lad on the bench, right? Kobe Menu is the chap to solve that.
Oh wow! Clearly, Amarin doesn't fancy him.
Yeah,
Clearly,
yeah.
he doesn't fancy him at all because he can't. It felt like he was bringing him on just to say he had done in this game anyway.
It's a shame because I mentioned the World Cup already. I mean, he'd be a lad that needs game time to get himself in that England picture, and he's such a talent.
Yeah,
so good, so good. I love watching him play. Again, he adds something different to the league, the way he carries the ball, and that for him not to get a game in a poor United team. I think shame on Amarin really for not giving him more game time.
That's why Amarin's paid the big bucks. He's got to start putting the results on the board. So,
well,
but in an FPL sense, they're great at the moment from an attacking point of view.
Yeah, so on United, in Burmo, Ahmad leaving for AFCON, clearly that's the right side attack gone. So how do you see them shifting the players around to try and sort of accommodate for those losses?
I think it probably guarantees more minutes for Mason Mount. I would imagine him and Cunha will be the wide guys, and then again, obviously Sesko's coming back, so again, I imagine then he becomes the focal point up front. And I'm just trying to think who else they'd play at wing back. Probably Dallo, I guess.
Dallo on the right and bring Dorgu on the left. I mean, yeah, instantly it's weakened them already, isn't it? Because Ahmad's been brilliant.
Yeah, I think, Ahmad obviously is more of an attack-minded player, but he clearly has got the footballing brain and got the physical attributes to do that wing-back role fairly effectively.
Yeah.
So yeah, he will be definitely. He'll probably be a bigger miss than Mbeumo, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The team.
Yeah. Although watching United, I think Mbeumo's on the ball has looked a little poor the last few weeks, but he occupies defenders, he makes space for others. Mason Mount will come drop deep and have ball to feet and not be a threat in behind like Mbeumo is. So yeah, be interesting. This could be the period of the season that United struggle. Interesting, won't it?
Indeed. All right, let's go on to our game 16 scores. I will let you go first, Scott. Talk to me about your team.
Well, it was a good week. I brought in Incapié for the suspended Calafiori.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't going to do the next move I did, but the news that we received that Daniel Munoz was actually going to be out for sort of 4 or 6 weeks was news to me because we'd been told that it was a really sort of minor, maybe 2-week injury. And then it transpired he needed surgery and was going to be out for a lot longer. So had to move him on. I brought in O'Reilly, probably maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks before I wanted to. And then I had a decision. Do I bring in Foden for Mbeumo or do I keep Mbeumo for what I thought was the better fixture, the game against Bournemouth? And I thought, I'll back the Palace boys to shut Foden out, and I'll go captain Saka and go against Haaland and really, really back my own team. And as the stats proved, I think it was a good decision. Just the result, you can never really truly back against Haaland because he's so deadly. But the Foden goal, when that ball went in, I tell you what, Joe was sat in the living room. I just silently stood up. I walked to the front door and I actually walked out. And I came back about 10 seconds later. She's like, "Where you been?" I was like, "Don't ask." It was
moment.
It was like a kick to the ghoulies. It was horrible. And then I had to hope that the Mbeumo outscored him, and he did absolutely nothing last night, despite United scoring 4 times. So a mistake on my part for not making a move early. But he's already in. I made the move straight after the game because Mbeumo actually dropped in price, and Foden was going up in price yet again. Morgan Rogers coming good. I see you haven't taken him off me yet, so I'll keep him for a few more games. And that double Arsenal defence is giving me a headache. I'm not sure what to do going forward with that. Maybe you can help me with that later on. But 86
I'll
points.
do my best.
A nice rise rank up to 225k, which is pleasing. And Virgil, obviously, returning at long last and justifying some of that massive value that he has.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think when you get those type of scores, you can't really complain.
I was annoyed because it could have been better. That Foden was a 10-point gain. I was like, oh, why didn't I do it? It was a free transfer as well. Why didn't I do it? But anyway, live and learn.
Let's go on to, I guess, Darren's score. So he got 44,784, and he unfortunately dropped rank to 6.5 mil.
Jeez.
I guess obviously he got the returns from Cunha and Cherky. I'm pretty sure he bought in Watkins this week.
Yeah, he bought in Watkins. He captained Watkins for his exceptionally lucky assist that he got. I mean, the problem with Darren's team is there's too many minutes risks in there. We pointed out to him a few weeks back that players like Eze and Welbeck not guaranteed starts. And those weeks that they don't start, they really bite you, especially in weeks like this where other midfielders have double digit. You know, they risk and reward these players, aren't they? And frustrating when they get benched.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Obviously, he's been on them when they've been hot, so I guess I give him some due in that. Yeah, he's been a little bit unlucky, I think, in this game week. And I think that's obviously because, like you said, that he's got a week where he's had midfield and defensive blanks where a lot of midfielders have hauled that have been fairly highly owned.
Yeah, the swing's unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, if you look at even your score 79 compared to Darren's, I mean that's a massive swing, just for a couple of different players.
Yeah. It's funny. It was an easy game, eh? And we knew what was going to happen. So I guess on to my one. So I made four transfers in the end. Obviously, the Munoz originally was going to take Stack out and do 5 across the midfield. But with the Munoz injury, I just obviously decided I had to do 2 defensive transfers because I was already annoyed at Van Dijk. Thanks for the clean sheet this week, mate.
He didn't get DEFCON this week, though.
No. So I bought in O'Reilly. I bought in Anderson, Fernandez, and Raul Jimenez. Again, I've bought in these guys because Fulham's fixtures for the next 3 at least were nice. Obviously, they had Burnley that weekend, so it's unfortunate they couldn't be more defensively sound. But then they've got Forest and then West Ham in the next 2. So I'm hoping they can refine that form and bring me some points there. Happy with O'Reilly, and again, Fernandez, as we spoke about, is the guy on form for United. So
your midfield's very strong, isn't it? That midfield, Fernandez, Foden, Saka, Semenyo is one of the strongest midfields I think you can assemble at the moment. It's very strong.
It's become the template. I'd like to say I was a little bit ahead of the template, as I've definitely had Saka and Semenyo for nearly 10 weeks now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been on them for quite a while. So, but yeah, it does feel like those 4 are definitely making part of a template going forward anyway in the short term. We know how quickly these templates can change.
Well, people use the word template like it's dirty, don't they? Like it's.
I think it is because it's just it almost I guess is seen as like you don't have knowledge, so you've just picked players because everyone else has picked them.
Well, in our group chat, my brother threw the template accusation at me like it was dirt. You know, your team's always template. I was like, well, okay. Is that an insult? Is that an insult that you're like 150 points behind us? I mean, what's your point? Anyway, we move on.
So then on to, I guess, game week 17. So I've got the fixture ticker. Again, apologise for the colour saturation here. It's been soaked out. But I can promise you there are more colours than just
It's been washed out
really
in the
bland
laundry,
green
hasn't it? Look at it.
and orangey looking colours. So this is in order of fixture difficulty according to Fantasy Football Hub. So I am using their algorithm here as guidance. So they are saying that Newcastle have the best run of fixtures from 17 to 22. I would assume that's based on Burnley, Leeds, and Wolves in close proximity to each other.
Is that an amalgamation of attacking and defensive all put together in one sort of algorithm? Is that right?
That's how I understand it. So the star rating is how they would rank.
Yeah.
Their attack and their defense. So again, just to, I guess, give you some visual aid to whether you, I guess, back attacking players within their team or defensive players within their team.
Yeah.
Again, versus the fixtures that they've got coming up.
Yeah. Interesting that Liverpool in second place. I'll mention it in a little while.
Yeah. Again, we spoke about this. It feels like an eternity ago now, but it probably wasn't. It was only a handful of game weeks ago about the beautiful fixtures on paper. They seem to have slightly turned a corner, but it feels like it's a little bit too early to say. But they do have an out of form Tottenham, an out of form Wolves. That Leeds game will probably be pretty difficult. Then they've got obviously Fulham again away, won't be easy. And then obviously they come to the Emirates. So I think there's some of those games are probably tougher on paper than they probably look on this fixture ticker. For sure.
Take a screenshot as always and work it out for yourselves.
Yeah. Again, use these tools as guidance. Again, it's just there for a little bit of support. And now on to the main part of this week's episode, talking about our midfield differentiators. And I will let you start by explaining why you're wanting to look at this, Scott.
Well, it's so you use that dirty term template for describing your own team, and we had 5 free transfers drop into our inbox last week. You got all the AFCON players now not part of the game for a handful of weeks. There's a whole bunch of injuries as well that have kicked in over the last game week, and people have formulated that midfield because you can afford it. Okay. My idea was, well, if you wanted to slightly differentiate your team away from the template, but still keep a core of those players, who would be the players that you'd want to add in for a bit of spice, a bit of, maybe a 1 week punt here and there. So we picked 3 each, all in the midfield area because that's where the money is going to go. So if you had a midfield like yours of Bruno, Saka, Semenyo, and Foden, who'd be your 5th? I mean, at the moment you've got Stack, who's doing very little. So you could afford to get one of these other players in. So I thought it would be an interesting sort of debate as to who we think the 3 best players that we're going to pick each. I start with Jerky. He's a little bit more expensive, I guess. Can't really be in a neighbour at 6.5. And at time of recording, he's 5.2% owned, so he's still pretty lowly owned. And I can see a lot of managers going with the triple City front line of Foden, Haaland, and adding Jerky to it as well because they're scoring goals. He looked like he's maybe nailed some more decent minutes in recent weeks. He's a super talent. Some of the touches against Palace last week were extraordinary. Yeah. He's an assist machine. He doesn't offer a huge amount of goal threat. I mean, he can score, but most of his attacking play is through creation. He has 7 assists already this year, and only 1 goal. He has an XGI of 3.553, which is okay. The big thing for him is obviously the minutes. He's only averaging something like 54 minutes per week, which is not enough. But with Mamouche, AFCON, Doku's out for a month now. There's less competition in midfield. I can see him getting a run of games now. So at that slightly higher end of the budget for all these players, he'd be my top guy to look at if you wanted to go a bit spicier in that midfield.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like it. Again, probably that top end of that enabler budget, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But again, he's probably worth it, and that difference maker that could be in your team if you can afford him. I guess to counteract that, again, this is probably going to become template because he's already 12.5% owned during this.
So you picked the most template budget enabler in the game. Well done.
Yeah, during this, he was under 10%.
Yeah,
actually, at the start of the week when I was even looking at him. But yeah, 45 points in total in 6 games, 3 goals scored and 4 assists. But as you can see, he's massively overperforming that data.
Mm-hmm.
But again, similar to Cherky, he has those moments of magic. His minutes seems to be fairly solid now, for sure. He's making a difference, especially with the likes of Iwobi going to AFCON as well. So I think he's a really nice pick at that 5.6 million price point. Again, you can ditch him, on game weeks that they've got a harder fixture, and it's not going to dent your budget too much.
Well, you brought in Anderson and Raul Jimenez last week because of Fulham's lovely run of fixtures. Pity that you didn't bring in Harry Wilson as well because what did he get? 15 points this week.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame. It was between him and Dewsbury Hall at that time for that stack replacement, and it was only really the Munoz injury that made me change the plan.
Yeah,
so it's just unfortunate.
Well, for those who got him for this week, well played. He has been showing plenty of signs that Hall was just around the corner. Like I said earlier, he's a fantastic footballer, great finisher, scores goals out of nothing. So I'll reiterate what I said earlier about his data not being massively important because he's not that sort of guy that's going to build up huge data. He doesn't always get into those areas to score, but he's more than capable of scoring worldy free kicks, goals from outside the box, from angles. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to the data. And at 5.5 million, certainly comes in at a budget enabler at that price and would sit lovely in a midfield 5 alongside the boys you already have in yours.
Yeah, he's certainly under consideration.
Yeah.
On to your next pick, Scott.
Well, Mason Mount. This is on the back of, we had a big AFCON discussion a few weeks ago. During the international break, and we sort of cherry-picked some players we thought would come into the fray and be more an importance to their sides with certain players leaving. We've already mentioned Ahmad and Mbermo leaving for AFCON, and I think Mason Mount was already sort of cemented a certain number of minutes in that United team. But I think with Mbermo leaving, Mount is almost guaranteed starts. It's just whether he can see out more than like 70 minutes, which he's been averaging of late. He's a player that would have been on the cusp or on the fringes of the England call-up as well, so he's got pedigree. He needs to get back to sort of full fitness, back to his Chelsea days, where he was one of the best players in that position, at number 10 role. So if he captures anything like that sort of form, Mbermo might have a job getting back into the side. It just depends how Amrin's got set up with no Mbermo in that team and the lack of legs going the other way. United could get a bit sort of stodgy, a bit predictable down that right-hand side. But if you're looking for something to come in that's cheap enough, I mean, he comes in at 5.9 million now.
Yeah.
Only 0.7% owned, so he's virtually no one's teams. His data's nothing to write home about. 3 goals, no assists this season. Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't be put off drafting him in.
No, I think it's a good shout. I think his minutes should be more guaranteed with the players that are going to AFCON. He has looked really sharp when he has played in recent weeks. So yeah, I think he's definitely a good shout.
Mm-hmm.
On my side, I've gone for Yakube Minte. Again, this guy is someone that on the eye test is wonderful to watch, but his underlying stats are a little bit underwhelming.
He's a kudos type, isn't he? Same thing.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on why that is, whether that's a good thing, bad thing. It's really hard for my brain to compute because I watch him, and whenever you watch Brighton, everything goes through him.
Mm-hmm.
He's very important to them as a team, but yet he doesn't produce any major underlying numbers consistently.
Yeah, I think when I watch Brighton, it's very important for them to get the ball up the pitch. I just think his end product is a little bit hit and miss. So he gets into some fantastic positions, but doesn't always deliver that ball across or make the right decisions. Or yeah, it reminds me very much of Mohamed Kudus. I love watching Kudus play when he's on song.
Yeah,
but just so frustrating at the same time with that lack of end product.
Yeah, he's very much kind of a similar like purple patch type player, where he'll go 4 games without getting any, and then he'll get 2 assists in 1 game, and then he'll get a goal the following game, and then go another 3 games without doing anything.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's kind of getting on him when you can, and I guess the main reason for me picking him is because the next 4 fixtures are fairly nice. So they have Sunderland at home, Arsenal away, which is obviously a tough one, but then they've got West Ham away and Burnley at home for the next 4. So that was probably the main reason calling him out, is that Brighton's fixtures are fairly sweet. And if they're going to be successful, I'd like to think he will be there or thereabouts involved.
Well, he's a guaranteed starter. He's a 90-minute man. We spoke last week the importance during this really busy period around Christmas of having those types of players. You Morgan Rogers, you Bruno Fernandes, those guys that are going to play every single minute. Minte is one of them. So you get him a bargain basement price. Like you said, you got to be on him and keep him. I guess you get on him, you play him all through the blanks, because you will get that moment against a team that you wouldn't expect, and all of a sudden he's popped up with a goal and an assist out of nowhere. So you got to ride the roller coaster with him, I think, a wee bit.
Yeah, agreed. And then on to our final pick of this section this week. So you've gone again. We've both gone very differential for this last pick.
Well, my man Jeremy Pino came in as Palace's Eze replacement. Has shown in flashes what a player he potentially can be. He's just got to add a bit of consistency, but those flashes are electrifying. He's more of a winger than a 10, so Glasgow's trying to integrate him into that sort of that second 10 spot that Eze played for us. And he doesn't always seem like it's a natural position for him. He wants to drift wide, but he picks up these little pockets of space and on the half turn, and he's gone. And he's hard to catch. And he's a good ball player. Just got to be more consistent with the final decision. You pick him up for 5.8. He's 0.3% owned. So again, he's in nobody's teams. 1 goal, 1 assist this season. But I pointed out Jerky's XGI, which is 3.53. Pino's is 5.46. So
Wow.
he's getting into chances. I mean, he was the culprit for our massive XG against City. He broke through and hit the bar. It's those decisions where he's got to learn just to show a bit of a cool head. It will come. I've seen plenty of him to be really confident that it will come. With Ismail Assar at AFCON, He's guaranteed starts. He's guaranteed long minutes as well. And I think if you're looking for that fifth midfield spot, and you still want a piece of the Palace attack, which is still pretty potent, then I think Pino could be the boy.
Yeah, again, I like it. Again, watching quite a lot of Palace, I think he's again been a little bit unlucky with not getting some of the returns that his underlying data shows. So as long as he's putting the data up, I guess you got to hope that someone eventually will get on the end of them.
Well, we need Mateta back, don't we? The old Mateta, stop crying about his knee injury and how many games he's played and blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, Palace will miss Ismail Assar for sure because he's our outlet on the right hand side, and him and Munoz not being available for a few weeks will dent us on that side. So I think the play will come down Pino's side, and him and Mitchell have a good understanding. We have a few nice fixtures thrown in, Leeds this week. So yeah, I would not be put off at all by bringing him in. Just maybe as like a 2 or 3 week punt. A lot of managers have still got spare transfers kicking around, so why not take the gamble?
Yeah, agreed. Again, my pick may feel a little knee jerk because 2 of those 3 returns that you see in that table were against Man United in game week 16. But I think for a short-term pick, I think he's worth looking at 5.5 million, 1.9% owned. They've got Burnley next and then Brentford the game week after. Fixtures after that get a bit tougher with Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham in a row. So it's probably more of a short-term pick. But he's, again, ever present in that Bournemouth side. He's a 90-minute man. He's putting up the numbers, so he's heavily involved in the attacking phases of play for them. So I think, again, as that fifth midfielder, potentially a bench warmer in some of those more difficult fixtures, he's well worth looking at to enable you moving budget elsewhere if required.
Well, he's a player that's he shows so much talent, doesn't he? He's pretty consistent as well, but sort of goes under the radar at the same time. Not particularly flashy. He's very important to the way Bournemouth play on the front foot. Takes corners from the left hand side. Even took a penalty the other week with Evan Olsen and Clive off the pitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, a good pick, very good pick. What's his ownership there? 1.9.
Yeah.
Again, he's in nobody's team, so yeah, an absolute differential of the highest order in a Bournemouth side that proves they can score goals. So yeah, a very nice pick, and again, someone I would consider strongly. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for that, Scott. I think that's given us plenty of food for thought for if we want that fifth midfielder within our teams for game week 17 and beyond. I guess on to our selections. First and foremost, your game week 17 team, Scott.
So this is where I need your help. All right. So I've already brought in Foden. I've probably missed all his returns now. He'll probably blank for the next 6 weeks. You can blame me, everyone. All right. And I plan to then roll. I've got two other transfers, so to get 3 for next week. But then I hit on something.
Ooh.
That Arsenal double defense. I mean, I was pretty set on playing that for most of the season. But as you pointed out, without Gabriel, the Arsenal backline, although it's still putting up some decent numbers, isn't the same backline as with Gabriel in it. So I'm looking at and thinking, well, do I really want to be stubborn and stick with it just because I think it's the play to get ahead of the curve? I thought, well, who else is showing signs that he could be the thing? Now, we've just discussed midfielders, and my midfield's pretty stacked already. And my fifth midfielder there is Xhaka, who I think in time needs to be replaced because he's doing nothing. If he's not getting DEFCONs, he's only getting booked. So he doesn't warrant coming on ever. I never want to play him, which is not what I want.
Yeah.
And
You want the
Thiago,
option.
well, exactly. I mean, I've got to play 4-man midfield. I haven't got the fifth option, which is partly why I wanted to discuss that fifth option with you going forward. But then I thought, well, Thiago, I watched the Brentford game, and he was anonymous. And then they got awarded a penalty, which eventually got overturned for offside. Then I looked into the stats for Thiago. 6 penalties this season. He scored 5. 4 of them have been won by Dango Tara, who's at AFCON.
Yeah.
And who was the player that won the penalty the other day that wasn't given?
Dango Tara.
Okay. If you remove the penalties out of Thiago's data, it's shocking. It's woeful. And the performance I saw from him the other day, he was a passenger. Never got involved in the game. The ball never come anywhere near his vicinity. He was making runs that seemed like he didn't really want the ball. So I thought, is there someone out there that I can replace him with? And that somebody is Ekitike. Okay, now I haven't the funds, but I have the exact money, and I have 2 free transfers. Yeah, take out Nkapie for Alderete, and I can upgrade Thiago for Ekitike, but that leaves me 0 in the bank, so I have to do it. So if there's a price rise imminent for any one of those players or a price drop, then I'm priced out unless I do it. And I thought, well, I looked at the fixtures for Liverpool, and I thought, well, from game week 18, they're stunning. But then I thought, well, hold on, they got Spurs in 17. Spurs have been terrible, so I'm very tempted to make that move as well. What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
I like it. I think it's bold to get ahead of, because I think if Ekitike were to score this game week, people will be jumping on him. So I think it's again getting ahead of that curve. I think you're probably right to look at the double up Arsenal as maybe not being as effective going forward in the short term, at the very least. So yeah, I think Nkapie coming out would be a good pick. Obviously, Timber is probably guaranteed minutes now. White is injured again, so that's probably another reason for Nkapie. But yeah, obviously Thiago's playing Wolves this weekend, and they are by far the worst defense we discussed earlier.
Yep.
But you are right. I've watched him a few times in recent weeks, and he doesn't get involved in the play. He's there just to sniff the chances out if they hit him in the box.
Yeah.
And it is a tough watch. So yeah, I think that's a bold move. Let me just have a quick look at Sunderland's fixtures. Yeah, they've got Brighton, Leeds. Obviously, you'd probably drop him for City. Yeah, don't see why not. Again, when you're spending £4 million on a defender, he's there to be rotated in and out when required, right? Especially when you've got Richards there sat on the bench as well.
Yeah, they rotate very well. Alderete and Richards actually rotate quite nicely. The only stumbling block would be, as you mentioned, Thiago's got Wolves this week, so probably a bit crazy to pull him out before a fixture like that. Plus, also you play Everton this week, and they have been decimated, that front line.
Yeah.
Njai's gone to AFCON. Dewsbury Hall looks like he's done a hammy, might be out for a while. Grealish has also done a hammy, looks like he might miss a couple of weeks. Alcaraz will probably come in with O'Neill, which obviously isn't the starting choice. And Barry or Beto up front, pretty anonymous, a bit like Thiago, but in a blue shirt. And no penalties. So to make the move this week, it's why I was going to hold off.
You're arguing yourself back round.
Well, it's a 50-50 call, because I think the Arsenal defence this week will benefit from that Everton decimation. And obviously Thiago against Wolves, it looked like a stupid move if you go to Ekitike and Thiago scores against Wolves. You go, well, of course, because they're playing the weakest team in the league. So it's a 50-50 call. I might leave it for next week. It's a move I'm definitely going to make. It's whether I make it for this week or for 18. Not sure.
Again, I think your thought process behind it is correct. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that crystal ball, mate, to tell you whether Thiago.
Thanks for your help. Thanks for your help, mate. I won't ask you again.
I've given you my reasons. I think it's a good thing to do. I think it's a good thing to do because if Ekitike does score this weekend in a tougher fixture, people are going to jump all over him.
Clambering, yeah.
It's going to be difficult, but like you say, because people have got transfers in the bag from AFCON, more than likely it'll be easier for a lot of the top players to do because they probably would have saved some.
I think he's at 17% ownership, Ekitike, so not a differential by the midfielders we just highlighted, but still in terms of like Thiago ownership, huge differential compared to him.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. All right, on to me. So obviously I've got Pope injured still sat on my bench currently. I've got 2 free transfers, and then I want to look to upgrade stack at some point. I'm torn this week because I still have 2 chips to use before game week 19. If I make these transfers, then it feels like bench boost makes the most sense. But how can I not triple captain Haaland against a struggling West Ham? So my current gut feeling is hold off the transfers, which sounds really boring from an FPL sense. And then obviously I'll have 3 going into next week, which might be more advisable. And yeah, triple captain Haaland this week instead.
You got to. It's the week to do it. You only got 3 weeks left. This is by far the week that lots of players that have been holding out for. West Ham shipping chances, shipping goals. Haaland still in red hot form, has to be. Do you think I'll say you got a lovely Bournemouth double up against Burnley this week? Who do they play next week for your bench boost in that defensive area? Because they've shipped Brentford. Okay, they've shipped goals, Bournemouth and Petrovic. We both own Petrovic. I mean, good God, what a performance last night. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets dropped after that. It was an absolute howler of a performance, and not the first time. He's made a couple of rickets in the last few weeks as well. He's been one of the worst pickups for me all season. So yeah, Brentford next week. You know, if you still got Thiago in your team, I guess it's a bit of a conflict. Maybe you could make your bench boost in 19. Is that a better week?
To be honest, there's no perfect weeks.
Okay.
Really, obviously the main reason for this week is obviously all the teams that I've got there are playing either weaker opposition than them or close opposition. Whereas, yeah, if I go into 18, 19, there's going to be a mixture of some of my players obviously either playing each other or, having harder fixtures. So, yeah, but yeah, for me, again, bench boost is a pretty throwaway chip. So I'm not going to lose too much sleep. It would just be a decision whether to use it 18 or 19. So I guess we can come back to the pod next week to decide that, because I imagine because they're so close together, we may as well do 18 and 19 together next week as well.
Yeah, because the game weeks come thick and fast, don't they? I guess the question you got to ask yourself with the chip usage is where do you see the points coming from this week? Do you think the triple captain you gain more this week than a bench boost?
I would, well, in Wilson's form, if I was to bring him in.
I mean, I'd go triple captain. It makes sense.
2 defenders playing against each other on the bench, not great.
Yeah,
I haven't. Verbruggen was just someone that, again, was more of a budget enabler.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, not fully sold on him. Yeah, I think triple captain does feel the right move to make because, again, obviously they've got Forest next, Sunderland's for Haaland-wise. Bruno's got Wolves in 19, so there's potential there. Nothing really for Saka. So yeah, it probably is either Haaland this week or Fernandes against Wolves, which it feels like Haaland's probably more of a concrete pick.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be at all surprised if he picks up a hat trick or something in that game, would you?
No. So yeah, okay, all right. Triple captain it is, and
decision made.
Roll my transfers because there's no point making transfers if they're going to be on the bench.
Well, also you go into next week with 3 transfers, which means you can react to any injury news or
it's bound to happen, right?
Much better. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Scott. And then last but not least, on to Darren's team for this up and coming game week.
He's gone that triple city attack like we discussed. I think that might be quite popular with Shirky coming in as that 5th midfielder as we highlighted. And he's gone a bit rogue with Watkins. Watkins actually putting up some really decent data at the moment.
Yeah.
Villa are flying, aren't they, as a team? Picked up form.
Was it 10 and 11? No,
10 and 11. Yeah.
Which is mad.
Yeah. So from a team perspective, I mean, you go Watkins or Rodgers. I mean, I picked up Rodgers. He's got 2, not back-to-back hauls, but 2 hauls in the last 3 weeks. Watkins has been unlucky, but looking like he's back to his sharpness. Double Palace defence, always a good shout, in my view. I mean, his notes made me laugh because he said, I'm bringing in DCL because he's in red hot form, but I'm going double Palace defence. I was like, okay.
Well, he's 4 and 4, so
yeah,
I guess he's correct in his red hot form.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he can carry that on will be seen. But yeah, he obviously fancies the clean sheet more likely than Calvert-Lewin to score.
Sure.
And obviously, yeah, he needed to make that transfer.
Yeah.
To get to Foden.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense in this instance for him to do that. Yeah, I like it. I think it's from his team, say even 3 to 4 weeks ago, is so much more balanced.
Mm-hmm.
He's got players that are on his bench that could go into his starting lineup quite easily, and he'd probably be happy to play, which again is always a nice sign. Again, for rotation with these thick and fast fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like the Ballard pick.
Yeah.
The Enzo pick, I'm not sure whether he's passed his sell-by date with Palmer now coming back into the fray as that number 10. He's definitely not as effective deeper. So I think that'd be one position out of all of them, really, that I would be looking to potentially evolve in the coming game weeks. But other than that, I think it's a really good team.
Yeah, he's doing really well. Yeah, but Ballard's a player that I've looked at many times, just not gone there. But he's someone that could haul any given week, and Sunderland, especially at home. If you play Sunderland defenders at home, they're very strong. That's a Stadium of Light. Yeah, good team, Darren. Well done, mate.
Yeah, well done. Awesome. Awesome news indeed. Stop sharing. Well, thank you, Scott. Appreciate your time. I hope that helped everybody for game week 17. Let us know if you have any other differentials that you think are worth considering. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you next week for probably game week 18 and 19 as a bumper preview episode.
Bumper edition.
So look forward to that. Thanks again, Scott. Have a good weekend.
And you, mate.
I shall speak to you later. Bye.